Hello friends and welcome. Hope you're all well. I want to talk about karma today and things that we go through in life that we don't understand, and it may well be that it's not your burden to carry, but it is karmic debt that you have been loaded onto, right? And it has attached itself to you to sort out for everybody else that are not strong enough to deal with it. I realize that that's happened to me. If I look back, I've always been told, especially by my mother, that constantly saying that my other older sisters needed help and support. And even though that my sisters were not very nice to me, and it's a long story. But I'm just going to say this is that because they stood for something much more unethical, and I am, and always have been, a truth seeker, and I see straight through people. And so they have been quite awful, right? Anyway, apparently they all needed support, and I was blamed for not supporting them. And I've asked a question on the odd occasion when I needed help and they weren't there for me, even though I went out of my way to contact them, because they live on the other side of the world and I live on this side of the world. And I've been told a lot of times that, oh, you're so strong. Nobody think you needed any help. Great, excellent, right? And so that's my family. No wonder I live on the other side of the world, because it really makes no difference. And so that's one thing that I've lately started to understand, that I'm actually carrying it must be a karmic cycle of some sort that I have started to release and get rid of, because I'm not carrying it anymore. I refuse to carry it for somebody else. And I've also realized that ever since I can remember, that my grandmother on my dad's side, she was an evil person. I remember she was awful, and she demanded that she would be looked after financially. And my dad, he was all about status and what the family portrayed to others. And heaven forbid nobody should ever, or anyone should ever, figure out what actually went on behind closed doors. And so it was all about looking fantastic to the outside world. So we were 3 girls and mum, so controlled by dad, who internally was so weak that he could not bear to be portrayed authentically. And so it was, ever since I can remember, it was all about money. Money, if you don't have money, you are worth nothing. And I remember even working 50 hours a week, and I was still struggling because something always happened. Someone always thought that they would take that money from me. I'm talking ex-husbands and partners here. And I have had a few partners who have actually come right out and said, after they realized that I wasn't going to come back, they said that they took everything from me so I wouldn't leave. They took everything from me so I wouldn't walk away. Wow, they didn't know me very well, did they? So, and these guys were not physically abusive, but worse, mentally abusive. And in a way, I picked them and agreed to that relationship because that was how I was brought up, with thinking that was love, right? Anyway, so I've realized that I am carrying this massive karmic debt as far as money, because it's always been about money. You do a job for money, not because you love it. And so I have now, and it takes time to release karma from your body. And so I've starting to release this karmic debt that I'm carrying. And I have carried this all of my life. And it seemed that, looking back, every time I get ahead and feel safe in my financial situation, whether it would be with a partner or without. And come to think of it now, when I have relaxed into a partnership or a relationship with somebody, and I've accepted I'm in a relationship with this person, I love this person, right? Something happens. And for whatever reason, that person, it's like my first husband, as soon as I relaxed into that relationship and we both worked, he completely changed. And I went out with someone maybe 10 years ago or 9 years ago, and I even moved in with this person, and he completely changed as well. And I'm a person that tries to find solutions if there is an issue and talk about things. But this last time I wasn't going to hang around because this guy got aggressive. And so I moved in. And after 3 months after moving in with this guy, the whole world changed. The whole dynamic changed. And so I've spent a lot of money getting out of the apartment that I was living in to move in with this other fellow, and removalists and this, and you know what happens when you move, yeah? And 3 months later, I'm going, I can't do this because this guy's going to hit me in a minute. And so I had to move out, find another apartment. And it seems that as soon as I get comfortable, whether I work or not, something happens or someone happens, and there's a change. And it seems that it affects not only the emotional side, but the financial side. And so every time I feel that I'm safe, something happens, and something comes in and grabs finances out of my bank account. And it's like the universe gives with one hand and takes away instantly with the other. And so I've started to see a massive big pattern. And so I've realized that there is this huge, deep-rooted karmic debt around money. And so what are you carrying? What happens to you? It may not be money, it may be something else that happens, and you go, oh, hang on a minute, this has happened before, maybe 1 or twice or 3 or 5 times. Why is it happening in the same manner? Because that's exactly what's happened to me. And so I've removed myself from relationships because I realized that I was, attracting guys that wanted something from me, wanted me to support them in a massive way. And you what you have inside you reflects what you attract, and I'm aware of that. And so I'm going, I've attracted these people. How did I do that? And so what is it that I give out that tells the people who need something from me to be attracted, right? So I've, for a couple of years now, I've just no, that's not happening. Even though I don't, I'm not against a relationship because I do want one, but I don't want it with the wrong person anymore. And I'm now, it's got to take a long time to get to know somebody and understand what their intentions are and where their heart lies. Because I seemed like I was attracting people or men that needed help in some way. And I did. I helped all of them. But one thing that they all had in common is that they all thought they helped me financially, even though they tried to take everything from me. So, but that's a blame thing as well, right? And so I've realized that you've got to be mindful of looking at the real issue, I guess, or the real, the reality behind the attraction. And looking at from my side is that I guess I wanted to, I wanted to help them, right, in some way, but not in the way that they wanted me to help them in the end. And once you've committed into a relationship, then it's difficult to backtrack and reverse out of that relationship. And we've all experienced that. And so going back to karmic debt, it is very important to realize the karmic debt and where it comes from, and recognizing it for what it is, and then understanding that, take for instance in a relationship, this isn't love. And so what am I in this for? What is it? Financial benefit? Is it I'm helping them because they can't do anything for themselves, even though they say they can do everything without me? But in saying that, they have a history of always needing another person in their life to do shit for them, right? So they jump from one to the other, as you learn later. And what is your karmic debt? And do you have one, or do you not even recognize it? Because it's taken me a long time to understand the thread that's linking them all together. And it's interesting when you do see it, are you brave enough to recognize it? And what are you going to do about it? And so, what have I done about it? Well, I have said that, and I walked out barefoot and on the grass, grounding myself, saying out loud, I'm not carrying this anymore. It is not my burden to carry, because I can see from my dad's side that everything had a price tag. Everything. And so in the back of my mind for a very long time, everything has had a price tag. And very few things have been done with love. Do you love what you do? Or are you doing it just for money? What do you do for money? Have you got boundaries? And so, hang on a minute, no money in the world would make me do that, because that contradicts what I have in my heart. And in this day and age, we slave our guts out to get peanuts most of the time. And we are not valued in the way that we should be. Because abundance is your birthright. God wants to give you abundance, but you put up blockages that hinders that flow. And it's interesting when you realize how it works, and how you recognize what it is that you're carrying around. And so it's interesting when the light finally comes on and you can see a big red thread through that whole linkage of belief systems and thought processes and behaviors. And you go, well, how long have I been doing this? Most of the time, it's from when you're born. And, going through school, nobody teaches you anything. Somebody should change the schooling system to make kids understand what goes on, right? So you get my drift. Have a look at what you're carrying around, and to release it, you just have to say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not carrying this around anymore. I'm breaking the cycle. I'm breaking the cycle of this shit. And I'm not willing, I'm not a willing participant in this anymore. And say it out loud. I now generate my wealth from my heart, gently. And I sleep safely, knowing that what I do comes from love and not from pain. Because I remember my dad was a bit of a, where we grew up, he had this is a long time ago. Police come knocking at your door. In the middle of the city, he had an underground casino, or illegal casino. Try and chase him down because he's passed away. And so has his partner, so there's no feedback there. But a long, long time ago, when I was this big, he had an illegal casino. So that creates karmic debt, right? And so wealth created through pain and suffering and criminal activity becomes massive karmic debt. And I feel, because my dad was born on the 18th of June, I was born on the 16th of June. So we are very, I'm not going to say very much alike, but we are similar. So I feel that I'm carrying, or have been carrying, because I'm no longer, I've been carrying this karmic debt. And sometimes, I can smell my dad around, because I'm very psychic, and I'm a psychic medium, right? So I have visitors, and one of those visitors is my dad, because I can smell him, and I can feel his energy. And so he's hanging out, he's hanging around. And so I know that I'm carrying that karmic debt. So have a think about that. That's an interesting scenario. Anything that is, any wealth that is accumulated through pain and suffering, how do you create your wealth? Do you go to work and hate it? That's pain. What else do you do to create money? Is it painful? Painful as in hard labor. Do you work from your heart or from pain? I have done both, so I know the difference. But only recently I have now recognized that I have this massive, or used to have this massive karmic debt. So I released it not long ago, but it takes time to get that karmic debt out of the body, because the body stores that karmic debt. Slowly but surely it will disappear. And one day I'll wake up and go, oh my God, it's not here anymore. But it's interesting. I find it very interesting. And you would have thought that I would have gotten it a bit earlier. But the soul shows it to you in increments until you're ready to just wake up and go, oh my God, oh my God, all right, I knew it, but it doesn't click. Yeah, the light doesn't fully come on, and the veil isn't pulled away from your eyes until you're absolutely ready to understand and deal with that karmic debt. So have a think about it. I'm talking money here. Have a think about how you create your wealth. Is it through pain or is it through love? So now I only create my wealth through love. I love what I do. I love talking to you guys. I love being a psychic medium. I love the study that I do. And I love doing what I'm about to enter into as well, which is evolutionary astrology. And so, and it's amazing stuff. And it is guiding others, not fixing anyone. I'm not fixing you, right? That is for you to fix yourself. But what my work here is for is to awaken others to be able to see and get insight of their own situation, to pull away that veil that clouds your vision into situation that will resonate with you. And I love it. I really do. And I genuinely passionate about how the mind works, how the soul can shine through the ego and awaken the body and the mind. I'm going to leave it here and give me a comment, because it's interesting that we all go through different things and we all learn from each other. And like to hear from you. Hope you have a lovely day, and I'll chat soon. Bye.